The final movie in the Mission Impossible franchise comes out this May. Now, I've personally never seen a Mission Impossible movie before. So, starting this week, I will be watching every single Mission Impossible movie, so one a week, up until the release of the new movie. So subscribe, turn the notifications on so you get notified every time I post, and let's enter the world of Mission Impossible. Okay, I just got back from watching the movie, and by back I mean from my living room to my room, right? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you right off the rip. This movie was boring, okay? It is definitely dated in many, many ways. The technology is dated, the music is dated, the acting is dated. I also couldn't put subtitles on the version I was watching, and so I low-key couldn't understand half of them. Like, I almost had my TV fully cranked, so that might have been half the reason. It's whatever. Let's just explain the plot, okay? So, bada bing, bada boom. You open it up where they're interrogating some dude to get some sort of information. What's that information? I literally don't remember. But then they get the information, and then there was a chick who acted like they died, that they were getting the information from. It turns out she's not died, she's one of the agents. And then bada bing, bada boom. Whoa! It's Tom Cruise! That's was my genuine reaction, because this whole time I was like, why? Where is Tom Cruise? This is his movie. And kind of at the beginning of this movie, it kind of feels like it's going to be more of like a group thing, and then it doesn't. You'll see what happens. You'll see what I mean. One scene that I really did enjoy from the. Why is my hair up like that? Oh well, just ignore that the rest of the video. So one scene I really enjoyed in this movie was when the old dude, I don't remember nobody's names, nothing. This movie was not my cup of tea. The old dude was like in the airplane. And this was filmed in like the 90s when he was still smoking in an airplane, right? And the cassette tape that he was playing that gave him the orders that he needed to do self-destructed in 5 seconds. So boom, it self-destructs, and now you got smoke coming up. How are we supposed to, you're on an airplane, a public airplane. How are you supposed to disguise this? You pull a cigarette out and you light it. So then the smoke from the cigarette matches with that. I thought that was pretty smart. And I like it when movies do like little character things, little things like this that like bring things together. I don't know. To me, I thought that was a pretty interesting beginning, and I was like, oh, okay, let's see what kind of movie this is. This is a great point in the video. 1, to subscribe. 2, to talk about the futuristic technology that they had. Now, this movie came out late 90s, right? And so their idea of like futuristic things is a lot different than a futuristic thing nowadays. So for example, like there are 2 main things that they're using for this mission. Is 1, a piece of zebra bubble gum. I know it's not, but it looks like the things you used to get from the dollar store with the jokes on it. And then you're supposed to mash it together, you throw it on something, boom, it explodes, right? This actually does show up a couple times in the movie, right? Lackluster every time, personally speaking. But for the time, it was probably amazing. I don't know, I wasn't even born when this movie came out. And then the second thing, which is really funny, it was a pair of headphones. It was just like a wireless receiver. So that's cool. I guess for the time they didn't have that. That's before even the Razr flip phone, the OG, the GOAT even came out. You know, a little bit ago I was talking about how, it seems like it's a team movie, but then it doesn't. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody dies that's on his team except for the main character. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what the main character is, so we're just gonna call him Hasselhoff. I don't know. I don't even. Tom Cruise. There we go. That's his name. First death that happens is the smart guy, the tech guy who's on top of the elevator, and he's trying to orchestrate okay, we need to get through to this thing before this guy gets here or whatever, right? And so he's on top of the elevator, right? And the way he dies is the elevator goes all the way up. He tries to shut the elevator down, and then some random claw things just come down, and he gets impaled and died. And you see a split second, but it's PG-13, so it couldn't really show you a lot. That was weird. Why are there just random claw things in the top? Also, literally a couple seconds prior, they literally show Tom Cruise's character and the other female character at the bottom, and they're just squatting down, and there's a lot of room, right? And so don't you think it would be the same at the bottom and the top? I would think so. And actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna let you guys on a little bit of a secret, okay? I actually got some inside knowledge on elevators, okay? So I knew an elevator technician once, right? And I was with a guy who was super afraid of elevators. So I was asking a bunch of questions, right? I was like, hey, like, can you get crushed by an elevator? And the dude's like, yeah, you're not gonna get crushed by an elevator. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. If you're at the bottom or the top, just lay down and there's a large section of cushion. I'm like, what about a guy like me, you know, a very large man like me? He's like, oh yeah, you'd be safe. Just lay down and you'll be fine. Which makes sense because they have to have all the components to go up and down, so of course there's going to be a little bit of leeway. So, and I'm like, if this is a spy thriller, you'd think it'd be a little bit smarter, right? I don't know. But also it's a movie. You know what I mean? At the end of the movie, they literally are on top of a train and we'll get to that at the end. We'll get to that towards the end. Okay, so other than that, a couple people get stabbed, a couple people get shot, some cars blow up, the rest of the team dies, except for Tom Cruise, sorry, wrong franchise. Tom Cruise is dead, right? And so what he does is he tells everybody, okay, let's abort, even though he didn't want to abort originally. And he leaves and he meets not with his boss, one of the guys who died, an old guy that died. He meets with his boss's boss, and he's not like the CIA, FBI, it's some agency, right? And then they're sitting at this lunch table, and the boss is like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry for your loss," but he's kind of acting kind of weird, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, Tom Cruise's character, he's kind of like, you know. Like, because, you know, all of his friends and coworkers just died, you know, in all very gruesome ways. Normal gruesome ways for a movie, I guess. And then this big boss is like, hey, so we think you're an undercover agent and that you orchestrated the death of all of your teammates because you're the only one that's still alive. So we're going to, like, bada bing, bada boom, arrest you or whatever, right? And Tom Cruise, as this is talking, he's like, well, what the heck? And also, like, the way they find out is because there was, like, another group of agents that was just watching them, but then, like, maybe I'll talk about that later. That doesn't make sense why they think Tom Cruise is, I don't know. It's honestly a very boring start to this movie, okay? I'd rather watch The Phantom Menace. Okay, I mean, like, look at that, Star Wars. Okay, look at that. Okay, Star Wars, here we go. I know I should have researched this before I posted the video, but I'm pretty sure the person who orchestrated the music is the same dude who does the Star Wars, because they have a similar, like, taste to them, if that makes sense. Like, they both taste like cheesecake, you know, a little bit stale. No, I'm just gonna cut this whole part out. The movie was so boring, I had to, like, collect my thoughts here. Remember that piece of gum I was talking about, the piece of zebra gum or whatever? So he, like, folds it next to his pocket right here, right? He was clearly doing something. I don't know why the boss wasn't like, what are you doing down there? I thought you had a gun, but he got the piece of gum, and he folds it, like, twice, and it goes radioactive. Like, you'd think you'd have to clump it up a little bit more. I thought that was kind of weird. But then he throws it at a piece of glass. But this piece of glass was like a fish tank? But I didn't see the fishes before. I don't know. This movie, I don't know. I don't know. But and then he gets away. I don't know where all the agents were that was supposed to be watching him. But whatever. He gets away. He goes to where he was supposed to rendezvous with the rest of his team. And then he's just chilling there for a little bit, right? And at this point of the movie, I was low-key like, you want to know what? I need to, like, stop writing notes down while I'm watching this movie and, like, pay attention. Because it must be missing something. Because there has to be, like, more, you know? Because this whole time, you know, like, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible was known for, like, oh, let's jump off of big cliffs. Let's, you know, ride on the side of, like, helicopter, whatever, you know? And at the end, there was a kind of, like, a Tom Cruise-y thing, but, yeah, I don't know. So I pretty much stopped taking notes. So at this point, I'm just going to be freeballing from my mind. I think freeballing is a bad phrase for that, but I don't know what it means, so we're just going to stick with it. At this point, they're trying to bring him in because they know they can't, the boss, the actual government agency, is trying to track this dude down. So what they do is they take his parents or his uncles, or I don't know, like falsely charge them for like some sort of drug thing, and then he gets like, and then Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise's character was like, calls him on the phone, but he knows if he's on the phone for 13 seconds, they could track him, so he's only on it for like 10 seconds. And he's like, how dare you guys, I'm gonna clear my name or whatever, right? Boom, click. He hangs up the phone, but guess what happens? He hangs up the phone, the person at the phone booth next to him turns around, it's the old dude who orchestrated the whole like operation, like his boss, his homie, his boss was there. And then they start to talking, and he's like, I can't reveal that I'm alive until this operation is over. You know, and then Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then they go and there was like a floppy disk that they're trying to steal with the information of agents, and and that was like their original mission, but now he has to somehow get that information to the person who wanted it originally because it didn't have all the information she wanted, and he tracked it down by like looking at like a Bible. This movie, it's not a great movie. I haven't rated it yet on my Letterboxd, which you should follow. But it's probably gonna be like a 2-star. Like, I will never watch this movie again. I'm gonna be brutally honest. So what happened is he gets the information. He does like the famous, like, oh, there's a white room. He goes down. Everybody's seen this scene, right? And he gets the information from the floppy disk that he needs to give to this old lady. And then he gives the information to the old lady, and then he goes to get the money. But then when he went to go get the money, the old dude was like pointing a gun at him, and he's like, hey, this is my money the whole time. You got me more money than what I originally was supposed to get. And then he's like, hey, come on, you don't want to do this. And then his wife, who died in the car blow up thing, but then didn't, was like also like, hey, but don't kill him, you know what I mean? But let's just take the money and go, right? But then the old guy kills his wife for seemingly no reason, because I thought they were on the same team, but then just like elbows the main character instead of shooting him when he literally just shot his wife. Why didn't he? I don't know. And then he like goes outside. They go on top of like, what is this thing called? Like a train. I don't know why I forgot that. They go on top of a train, and then they eventually get to a helicopter, and then they fire on the helicopter, and then, oh no, the helicopter is strapped onto the train, but they can't get away, but they're going to a tunnel. And so it looks like they're going to crash. Boom, the helicopter goes into the tunnel. Helicopter looks very CGI at this point. They might have actually filmed it in real life. I don't know. Seems like very dangerous. And so then Tom Cruise's character was able to like pull another piece of bubble gum out of his pocket, throws it on the helicopter, blows the helicopter pilot and the old guy, who's like apparently the person who killed the whole team and orchestrated all the bad stuff in the first place. And then he doesn't die, you know, and then they're like, oh, okay, you're chilling. And then he's like, the other dude who is excommunicado or whatever from John Wick, they're both back in the agency, but then here's the weird thing is like at the end of the movie, he's like, I don't really want to be a part of the agency because if they can just frame me for something I didn't do, then I don't know. And so he's like, I'm going to step away. And then guess what? He's on a helicopter, and then they force him another mission tape, and then the movie ends, which probably be Mission Impossible 2, which hopefully will be better than this first one, because this first one sucked. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it. So the verdict is never going to watch again. I'm giving it 2 stars. Helicopter went into the tunnel, and it all ends well. This movie sucked. That was the last thing I wrote, okay? So, moral of the story is, you can't trust the system, hashtag Lonely Island, but sorry, my brain. This movie sucks, but I'm still going to watch all the movies because, yeah, why not? But without further ado, subscribe if you watch this whole video, I appreciate it. When the movie gets better, I'm going to make my videos better, but I was so bored by this movie, I was just like, you wanna know what? Let's just talk about it. You know what I mean? I don't got a lot to talk about other than I was bored. Follow my Letterboxd. I might link it down below. I might not. I believe it's Crash the Path, same as my YouTube channel. If it's not, I'll put it in the next video. But subscribe and put your notifications on because every single week, I don't have a specific day of the week that I'm going to upload these. I'm going to upload every single week. At least this series and then a bunch of other stuff, a podcast as well. So stay tuned. The name of this channel is Crash the Path because we're trying to create our own path in life, right? And sooner or later, who knows? I might make my own movie after I reviewed a bunch of movies, you know? But I'm just going to stop rambling here, and I'm just going to sign off. Hey, guys, I painted that. Go watch that YouTube video. Goodbye.